Hey everyone, Doug here with B&H, and today we're walking around New York with the brand new Olympus OMD E-M1 Mark III. Naturally, as a successor to the Mark II, this builds on that camera along with taking some features from the more advanced and rugged E-M1X. This is of course a micro four thirds mount, and it's a 20.4 megapixel sensor. Now there's a lot of new features to discuss here, especially regarding image stabilization, but you'll notice before we jump in that we're also looking at a new lens. This is the M.Zuiko 12 to 45 millimeter f4 Pro lens. Now yes, with a range like that, you're probably guessing that this is an all-around versatile, everyday, set it and forget it lens. It's a pro lens, which means it's on the higher end. You're gonna get razor sharp images all throughout, but we're gonna see for ourselves with some street photography. So come and join me, let's get started. Man, we just started, it's already raining. Well, good thing it's weather sealed. What do we have here? I love what some people create in this city, I really do. So I'm using the live view and it's nice. It's a sharp screen, very bright. I can see everything laid out before me. The only complaint I would have really is that the black level is a little elevated. It feels a little gray to me compared to the LCD screen, which is a nice, rich, deep black. And so in terms of kind of getting a feel for your contrast, especially if you are focusing by eye, it might be a little tricky using the live view. That said, I'm still kind of eyeballing it and everything looks great, so maybe I'm over-exaggerating it. So the most fundamental change with the E-M1 Mark III going into this is that it has an improved stabilization system, now promising, if you use the right lens, up to 7.5 stops of stabilization, which is crazy to think about. So it's apparently so good that Olympus has decided to put in what they call a handheld high-res mode, and that gets you a 50 megapixel image stitched out of the stabilized sensor. Now that kind of high-res stitching has been around in cameras for a few years now, including in some of Olympus's own cameras, but this also has an 80 megapixel tripod mode. So basically, we have to test it out, don't we? As can be expected, there are also autofocus improvements. New to this camera is a face and eye detect feature. And there is a crazy fast burst mode of 60 FPS in the Pro Capture mode. One feature that I've been itching to try out, so much so that I did it before this video, was the live ND feature, which is an ND built into the sensor. Now, there are some limitations to it, which I'll get into in a minute, but yes, it allows you to have an ND built in. You don't have to screw on a filter if you don't want to. I'm loving the lens. I'm usually used to dealing in this range with like a 12 to 35, so the extra 10 millimeters really helps. It means I don't have to go out and grab something a bit longer just to get a little farther in. Now this is the brand new 12 to 45 millimeter f4 Pro lens. Now this is similar to their other lens, the 12 to 40 millimeter f2.8, but it's even smaller than that despite reaching a greater distance. Now, of course, you do lose a stop. It's f2.8 versus f4 on this lens, but it really helps if you're trying to go out and do some street shooting. We're very lucky today. It's overcast, so there's light everywhere, and it's perfectly even, so everything's gonna look great, right? No, it's actually kind of gray outside right now. For real though, if you're outside, I'd rather personally have the extra zoom range than maybe just one more stop. I know that this is a micro four thirds, so generally speaking, we are a little concerned about low light. Not a problem out here. It's cold, but I have to talk video. The E-M1 Mark III just got back from doing some video. It does DCI 4K up to 24 FPS. So if you want to shoot your latest movie, you got it here. Now, if you're a traditionalist, there's also UHD 4K available up to 30 FPS. Unfortunately, there's no 60 FPS here, so that is kind of a loss. You do get 60 FPS if you go down to 1080p, and if you want to go even further, there's also 1080p 120, but that's only for slow motion. Now, we didn't try it here today, but there is an OM log mode on the camera, so if you want to grade your images with a log format, you've got that too. Cool. So you can turn a simulation on of the ND for the live view, and you can see that it kind of gives this really dragged shutter appearance to it, and that's exactly what you're getting. I said before that there were limitations to the live ND mode, and one of them is that it only goes up to 1/30th of a second shutter. So that means that you have to use this for slow shutter shooting. You can't use this for video, you can't use this for anything with a high shutter. The live ND feature is pretty cool. It would be a killer feature if it was available in video mode, because personally, I need an ND filter when I'm outside shooting video no matter what, because you're always on a fixed shutter speed. That said, it's still a nice feature to have, and the results are pretty seamless. You can even kind of do some weird double exposure type things if you use it just right. And what's more, autofocus still works. All right, living a little bit dangerously here. It's not a tripod, but it'll do. So let's see here. Let's take a look. It looks like it did. So I took a few shots. Predictably, any time that there were moving objects in the shot, not that the camera was moving, but the objects in the camera were moving, it was blurred and almost like it was a long shutter, go figure. So just a couple of details before we go. The E-M1 Mark III features a brand new processor. This is the TruePic 9. It's a successor to the TruePic 8 found in both the M1X and the M1 Mark II. Now physically, in terms of connections, we're looking at a headphone jack and a microphone jack on the side, along with a USB-C and micro HDMI. Now the camera can charge through USB-C because it is 2020 after all. Now on the other side of the camera, we have, my hands are so frozen. We have dual SDXC slots. One of these is a UHS 2 slot, meaning you'll get very fast read and write times. So there's one more feature of the E-M1 Mark III that I really wanted to use. I didn't get the chance to because it's day and it's really cold out right now, but it's starry AF. And it's basically an autofocusing algorithm designed specifically for starry night photography. Think astrophotography or really any shot of a nighttime sky. Normally, that's very hard to use autofocusing in, and most people would just use manual. This algorithm supposedly takes care of that for you. So that is it for the Olympus OMD E-M1 Mark III and the M.Zuiko 12 to 45mm f4 Pro. Whew, that's a mouthful. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, please don't be afraid to like, comment, and subscribe below. And don't forget to click that notification bell so that you're the first one to know when we put out a new video. I'm Doug with B&H, and if you don't mind, it is freezing out here, so I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.